the world is changing, and how does the ownership change? Is this something that we are going to see, that what you are explaining, Evon and Kristo, that are we going to see this more in the Finnish bigger companies? That we are a little bit seeing the same with Teslas, that or Apples, that the owners of the product are also owners of the shares, and then they are kind of a community. That okay, I'm a Tesla person, and then you buy the products, and then you buy the shares, and you are it's like a cult.
I think we had that. We had that in Nokia.
Okay.
Nokia was the national flagship, and it was, and I am pretty, I mean, this is not a joke, I'd say. Like up until 2007, 2008, it was more or less unpatriotic to own any other phone than Nokia in this country. And I got the first iPhone. My friends were blaming me for doing like an unpatriotic act. And now we don't have that. We don't have a flagship like that anymore. And I don't think there's this kind of a collective sense of ownership in some collective project like that. I mean, you do see Rovio, Angry Birds. You go to a Bangkok street market, you see some pirated products with the Angry Bird logo. Maybe you feel something like, oh, this is from Finland, but it's not really the same thing. I think what you're talking about.
Yes, but if you look at I still a little bit like to challenge you that if you look at the biggest tech successes now, Ubers, you take a Uber in San Francisco, they are at least quite often proud of the work. They are saying that yes, I'm an Uber driver. This is a little bit of my company as well, and they somehow take pride on that. And still, they are really like also in the Evon's case, kind of in the grassroots level. So couldn't we see that's the way of big company ownership as well? That you still build on the story and on the not only about the financial statements, but about being part of this transformation.
Well, theoretically, but it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
The company needs to also feel that it's about the company values, and if the company feels that the employees are really valuable and shows it to the employees, I think then it could be a two-way street. But otherwise, if it's just a empty slide somewhere in the values and not really reflected in the everyday business, then I think it's broken.
Yeah.
I would maybe take another point of view, that software is eating the world, whether in whatever industry you are and whatever you do with your company, software will be part of your success, I believe. I've never run a big company, so I don't know how it works, but but thank you. And but I would assume that it will be even harder for the bigger companies to hire top engineers. And without those top engineers, you will not be able to build the digital products, and whether it's for internal use or for your customers. And I don't believe that Reactor or Futurize or anyone else, that you can in a long term outsource your competitive advantage to a consultant. In short term, they can help you to get in there. And in order to this happen, and I believe that if we look at retail or banking or any other industry, the ones that builds the best digital products for consumers will be winning the game. And in order to attract this top talent, I think a lot of the companies need to realize how they work more as a young software companies and have this kind of environment for the top coders to get the products out. And I think that's a huge transition that we need to have. And I think I don't know whether it's happening or not, but I at least the product that I use on daily basis, it seems not happening yet, unfortunately.
Very good, very good. And I'm sure most of the board members, which we had, many are feeling that pain, and they are considering that. But if I go a little bit back to the ownership and Evon on you as well, is there any conflict between entrepreneurial mindset or entrepreneurship and ownership?
If there's any conflict, you mean?
Yes. This is a very conflict-oriented panel. We are looking for.
Always showing me those difficult questions.
Yes.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder, and I'm also the owner and the biggest owner of our company. I don't see that there's a conflict. If I see, I think it's the opposite. I think it complements well, because you touch on the fact that, like, for example, Nokia to Finland, the relationship of the fact that you feel like you must, buy Nokia because you are Finn.
If somebody else says Nokia in this panel, I'm going to kick, or that's just at least you have to leave. All of the panels in Finland end up talking about Nokia, and this is not going to end up talking
we stop talking about Nokia.
So we are talking about something else, something new. We are talking about you, Evon.
Yes,
you are
what I was gonna touch on is that you actually mentioned the face in a way that actually is a very spiritual leader kind of role to run a cult, and I think that is something that you need a strong owner and you need a strong face and a strong voice, because ultimately what you are selling is not the EBITDA. It's not the how many countries are we going to invade. It's the belief of delivery and execution, and I think that is how actually we as founders, as CEO and people who be the face of the company ultimately sell, not the graph, not the hockey stick, but the belief that we can make it happen. I do also think that a lot of owners, I spent 1.5 years last year trying to raise 3 million euro for our Singapore expansion. And that was seriously pain the, sorry my language ass, that it was so hard to put it together and talk to everybody, because you realize that you're not selling.
I have to talk to MOAFFAK.
Actually, I have.
Did. We did.
I know.
But
I knew.
but I found out that actually at the end, the investor that did invest were not looking at the business idea. They know that the business idea can be mediocre, but they know that it's up to the people, the face, the people who lead, to actually transform it into something else. Because after all, we are the startup, and we are, in a way, the next generation. And coming back to ownership, actually, a lot of people now, I think, invest their money into companies and into startup because they want to claim the ownership of being that something new, of that something next. That's something that the next generation creates. And when talking about next generation, we are talking about the next, actually, upcomers who are joining the workforce as well, the millennials. Like, what motivates them? I am sure it's not the monthly salary, at least not the one that I've been talking to. It's purpose, it's meaning, it's the belief that you are selling them. Your internal marketing, actually, is all based on the belief. So if they don't align with my values and my principle, they won't believe in the company and it wouldn't go anywhere. So how many times I changed the company strategy or reform, they would not believe in me, then ultimately the company collapses.
Not just agreeing on everything.
No, I think this is very wise words, and should I build a conflict? No, I think. But one thing that is really important here to realize is that ownership and leadership is a different thing. I think even the coders that we work with and our team, they need leader. They need someone they trust. They need someone to follow, and they need someone to inspire them every day. And it doesn't need to go hand in hand. They need a CEO, they need a face, and then still they need to have ownership of their decision making and what they actually do and how they do. But I think leadership is not going anywhere. Quite the contrary, world is changing so fast, and there is so much information that they need someone to put that in a package and tell what it actually means and give a direction, even more than ever before.